Welcome back to Awful Stories. It's Matt here, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe to not miss your daily fix on Reddit stories. Okay, so the first post has since been deleted, but I kind of feel like it's too good of a post to skip on, so we're going to cover it anyway. So this post takes us to the relationship advice subreddit, and the post was titled, "How do I tell my partner that his dick smells horrid?" I have been going out with this guy for 2 months. I am 25 and he is 27. And every time we have sex, his penis smells bad and tastes awful. I have tried to handle this in subtle ways, like asking to take a shower together and cleaning him myself while I was playing with him. He let me do that once, but when I tried to do it again, he would not let me touch him while we were in the shower. Another time, I watched him clean himself, and pretending to be curious, I said, "Hey, aren't you supposed to pull down the skin and wash the head?" He just said that the way he was doing it was good enough. Anyway, I really try to deal with this without having to be upfront about the issue, but it did not work. He is actually starting to get suspicious. The last time we hung out, he asked why I always wanted to shower before having sex. I did not have the courage to tell him the truth, so I just said that I like to feel fresh before doing it. One time we did it without a condom, and I got a yeast infection afterward. Since then, we have only used condoms, but it is still a huge turnoff, and it makes me not want to give him oral or touch him. We have only been seeing each other for 2 months, so I am wondering if it is even worth going through all this trouble, or if I should just end it. The problem is that if I break up with him, I would not even know what to say, because other than this issue, he is really nice. Honestly, any advice is welcome. I do not want to hurt his feelings because he struggles with depression, but I cannot keep pretending like nothing is wrong. Edit. The comments made me laugh so much. I guess I really needed a wake up call. Sorry I was so careless with my own health, guys. I am going to tell him, just in case he wants to get this fixed, and then I will end things. This has never happened to me before, and I am not a confrontational person, so I did not really know what to do. I am a bit embarrassed, but I am going to get it together and handle it. Thank you, everyone. Edit 2. I do not have much of an update yet. We are both traveling for the holidays and probably will not see each other until next year, so I decided to send a message explaining everything. I did not tell him directly that his hygiene is disgusting, like many of you suggested, but I told him that I once got a yeast infection after we had sex and that his penis tastes weird sometimes. I explained that the two are probably connected, and that I noticed he cleans himself differently from what I have seen with previous partners, so maybe that is the cause of the bad smell and taste. I also told him that I care about him and that I know it is a sensitive subject, but I needed to tell him so we can make sure everything is okay. He simply replied, "Got it, thanks for letting me know," and we have not talked since. That was about 4 hours ago. I do not know if that means he is offended or what, but I need more time to figure it out. To be honest, I'm not really worried. Our relationship is still very new, and if he changes how he treats me over this, it will be the easiest breakup of my life. Anyway, thank you all for everything so far. Some comments made me laugh, while others were really kind and helpful. I appreciate all your support and the people who shared their own experiences. As a guy, I promise we're fully aware when things aren't exactly fresh. I'm just as likely to gag after a long day as anyone else. So if a dude smells off, he knows. He just doesn't care. And honestly, that should be your biggest red flag. Judge people as competent adults. If someone shows you they can't meet that basic bar, you're not dating a grown man. You're dating a teenager with a debit card. The second story for today again takes place in the relationship advice subreddit, titled, "I lost all respect for my partner." We moved across the country in April, and we agreed to do everything 50-50. He lost his job and filed for unemployment. He said he was approved, but it's now December, and I've been doing this on my own. He recently reached out to a representative and said that things were moving. He left his email logged in on my computer, and I saw that his claim was denied and he has filed an appeal. The hearing is set for January. When I ask him about it, he keeps telling me that he'll let me know when he hears something back. I asked him again today, after seeing the email yesterday. The emails are about 2 weeks old, and he said the same thing. This feels like the ultimate betrayal. I've asked him multiple times to get a job to help because I'm struggling, but he won't. I'm locked into a lease, and all the bills are in my name. I feel so defeated, and I never want to date again. I love him, and I want so badly for this to work, but I can't see how it will. How do I bring this up, if at all? What can I say or do to prevent myself from continuing to be taken advantage of? Can I repair this? Any advice or input would be appreciated. Update. Thank you to the people who reached out and offered kind words, and thank you to everyone who shared their opinions and advice. It has helped me feel less crazy through all of this. To clarify and elaborate on a few things for those who asked. When we moved, I paid for everything out of pocket. Although we signed the lease together, I am the primary leaseholder, but that does not give me grounds to evict him. When he lost his job, I told him that I would support us, but this was under the pretense that his unemployment benefits would come in and end in October, after which he would get another job. At multiple points during the past 8 months, I expressed that I was struggling. He always responded that the unemployment benefits would come in soon. I make $24 an hour and have been working 45 plus hour weeks. But now it's the slow season, and I'm lucky if I can get 37 hours. I accepted this under the promise that we would be receiving weekly checks from unemployment. But as time went on, I became more and more stressed. Now for the update, I came home, ordered a pizza, and we ate. I asked him why he didn't tell me about the unemployment appeal and why he lied about not having heard anything. He said he didn't want to stress me out, so I walked away. He followed me around our apartment, saying that I was treating him badly and acting unstable. I told him that we should break up and went to take a shower. He followed me to the bathroom and refused to leave, so I left the apartment. He followed me all the way to a park about a 15-minute walk away and said that I had obviously been thinking about this for a long time and that he knew it was going to happen. He asked how I knew, and when I didn't answer, he accused me of opening his mail or going on his computer. He said I was a terrible person for doing that, and that if I could be upset and break up with him, then he had been far more patient with me than he should have been in our relationship. He told me he didn't think I was a bad person, but that I needed help, and that I should have gotten it a long time ago. When he was finished, we just walked back. He cornered me in the bathroom again and demanded a reason for why I was breaking up with him. When I told him he was right about everything, that I was unstable and shouldn't be in a relationship, he said that just because I had those issues didn't mean that's who I was at my core. I went silent until he finally left me alone. It's been a few hours, and I've cried quite a bit. I just wish things were different, you know? It's like someone here said, I'm in love with the fantasy and the promises, not with what's actually in front of me. And to the commenter who implied I was shallow because I didn't stick it out, I would have if he had just said he was sorry for lying to me. Kitten Dolly said, why did you move across the country? It sounds like you moved before he lost his job. A self respecting man would at least be looking for work. He isn't being honest with you. Talk to him and don't allow him to manipulate you by complaining that you read that email. It sounds like he's been lying to you for a long time. You would be better off alone than supporting a liar. To this, OP said, yes, he had a remote job before we moved. He didn't communicate with his employer, and because of the state we reside in, he was fired. This third and final story takes us to the AITA subreddit, titled AITA for telling my friend she's in the same league as men she calls ugly. My friend, 19F, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type who always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, and feels lonely being single. She's also, in my opinion at least, very normal and average looks wise. Not unattractive, not super attractive, just alright. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men on there are unattractive, short, and so on, and that she doesn't match with anyone she finds attractive. I asked to see which people she was calling unattractive, and she showed me her likes. They were mostly men who seemed to be perfectly in her league, moderately attractive guys. I told her that these men were all in her league and that she should give some of them a chance since she's always complaining about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she was in the same league as them and said she was much more attractive. I pointed out that, in her own words, she doesn't match with the men she finds attractive, so she's probably not in their league. A deleted user said, NTA. Those apps use algorithms that track who likes you and adjust the options you're shown, essentially an attractiveness algorithm. If she wants to be superficial in how she rates guys, then she needs to be able to handle the same standard. Edit to add, I'm getting a lot of comments. I don't work for those companies, so I don't know exactly how the algorithms work. I read an article a year or so ago that explained how most of those apps are designed to make money, which often means manipulating the options available to men to encourage them to purchase premium services to get more matches, and giving women early matches to keep them engaged. That's why I mentioned the idea of an attractiveness algorithm. I'm not an expert. Please do your own research.